Hello, SoftyFlow Web Modeler provides the right box to easily create forms. To create a user form, we will first create a new interface with a specific name. We start by adding the step widget representing the step of your workflow. To configure it, we need to modify the static data by adding the name of each step. We can also add the description of each step as an optional feature in order to organize your workflow. We will add input fields with different names. The web modeler contains a list of ready-made components with drag and drop functionality to easily create layouts and web pages. Each component contains a list of configurations. All configurations options are included in Vue.js. As we said before, to create the form, we just drag the widgets and configure them. You can choose the type of widgets as needed, such as inputs, drop-down lists, radio buttons, dividers, checkboxes and many other useful widgets. Each widget has a name, model and it as a principal characteristics, and you can give them a default value if it's required. SoftyFlow provide 3 configuration options. A global one, it's a configuration shared between all components. Custom configuration, it's a configuration specific to the component used. And the last is validation, it's a list of component screens management, where you can select the status of your components in each screen: available, visible, disabled, mandatory. You can divide the page into sections and separate independent UI components, thanks to the divider widget, and use the grid widget to organize our fields into columns with a personalized settings. In our grid, we use Dates widget, which is an essential component in all enterprise applications, and SoftyFlow tried to offer the maximum of properties in its panel. Now, let's prepare our custom lists in the data partition. They allows you to create a custom list to be used within a SoftyFlow web interface. Each custom list has its own name and a number of elements with a label/value concept. This list must be matched to our drop-down widgets as a static data source, but you can also link them to a dynamic data source using collections as an advanced features in your project. Collections also are configured in the data partition. We will see this properly in next videos. After adding all necessary widgets, you can furnish your form by adding a history widget. Allows you to define a section widget that will follow up automatically actions performed by users for a given launched process. Since all components well configured, we add buttons needed to implement actions on this form. We can choose different color layout for the button component depending on its action, and we can select an event to trigger with the button click. There are 4 states to create an event. The first is a submit to launch the process, update to update the instance created before, the save state to save an instance. The last one is a script where we can add a custom script for the button as a function clicked. This is how SoftyFlow form looks like in the end. See you in next videos.